This audiobook unveils the forbidden metaphysics that shape your reality in ways you were never taught to see. As you listen, the hidden mechanics of the universe will reveal themselves, showing you that every outcome in your life is responding to your inner frequency. Step into this ancient knowledge now and witness how creation itself begins to answer you. Forbidden Metaphysics. Introduction. You move within an unseen tide of creation, whether you recognize it or not. Every thought you form, every feeling you nurture, every quiet belief you carry, drifts into the invisible field around you and begins shaping the patterns of your life. What you call reality is not happening to you. It is answering you, echoing the vibrations you continually send into the vast and living cosmos. The universe does not respond to fleeting hopes or passing desires. It answers the deeper frequencies buried within your soul, the ones you broadcast without words. These inner convictions act like tuning forks, resonating through the fabric of existence and calling forth experiences that match their tone with impeccable precision. Nothing comes uninvited. Everything arrives because something within you has made space for it. Those who walked the ancient paths understood this truth with a clarity that modern minds have forgotten. They knew that creation bends not to wishes, but to identity. What you are, your emotional climate, your hidden assumptions, your unspoken expectations, forms the mold through which the universe pours its substance. In this way, you become both participant and architect in the mysterious unfolding of your own life. Because of its power, this knowledge was once guarded and passed only to those ready to hold it with reverence. To understand these principles is to see that you are not a passive figure drifting through chance, but a luminous transmitter shaping your world moment by moment. Every signal you send returns to you clothed as experience. Mastery does not require force. It requires alignment, allowing your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to vibrate in harmony with the life you desire. When your inner world resonates with clarity, the outer world rearranges itself accordingly. This is the essence of forbidden metaphysics, the hidden mechanics of consciousness guiding all creation. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Hidden Mechanics of Reality. Chapter 1. The Mirror Within. In the heart of a bustling city lived a woman named Millie, whose search for happiness led her down countless paths of disappointment. Each morning she would venture into the world, hoping to find joy in the smile of a stranger, the approval of colleagues, or the affection of potential companions. Yet time and again, she encountered only fleeting connections and hollow exchanges that left her feeling more alone than before. Until one crystalline morning, as sunlight streamed through her window, Millie experienced an awakening. Like a veil lifting from her eyes, she saw with sudden clarity that her experiences weren't random occurrences. They were reflections of her own inner state. The world wasn't withholding happiness. It was merely mirroring back her own expectation of disappointment. This truth resonates through the very fabric of existence. Your outer reality arranges itself to match your inner vibration. What you experience is not happening to you. It is responding to you. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, creates circumstances that validate your deepest beliefs about yourself and life. Consider the tale of Franklin, who owned a small bookshop on a quiet street. Day after day, he watched potential customers peer through his window only to walk away. Orders would be placed, then canceled. His shelves remained full while his ledger grew empty. In moments of quiet reflection, Franklin recognized that each canceled order, each hesitant customer, mirrored his own hidden fear of being overlooked and undervalued. Understanding dawned like a gentle sunrise. Franklin began nurturing a quiet confidence in himself and his modest shop. He stopped seeking validation from each sale and instead cultivated a deep sense of worth independent of external circumstances. As his inner landscape shifted, so too did the world around him. Customers began appearing as if drawn by invisible threads of connection. Books found their perfect readers. His shop became a sanctuary of synchronicity, all because he had changed the signal he was broadcasting to the universe. Your self-perception is not a private matter. It is a constant transmission to the field of infinite possibility. Every thought, every feeling about yourself shapes the experiences that flow into your life. Change your inner frequency and watch as reality rearranges itself to match your new vibration. Practice. In this moment, softly name 3 emotions you wish your day to echo and breathe as if already living them, sensing the atmosphere inside you bend and shimmer to match. This gentle attunement is the first wand of creation. Chapter 2. The Shape of Thought. You have stumbled upon one of existence's most closely guarded mysteries, the sacred art of manifestation through sustained vision. Like a master sculptor who sees the finished masterpiece within raw stone, your ability to hold an unwavering image shapes the formless into form. Consider Clara, who crafted delicate figurines with extraordinary skill, yet destroyed each one before completion. Her hands knew the way, but her thoughts whispered of inadequacy. With each piece shattered, she unknowingly demonstrated a universal truth. Creation follows the dominant belief, not merely skillful action. The clay responded not to her technical ability, but to her innermost conviction. The universe operates through an ancient principle. That which is held steadily in mind must eventually materialize in experience. Yet most abandon their visions precisely when manifestation draws near, like Clara breaking her sculptures at the crucial moment of completion. Your thoughts are the invisible molds into which substance flows, but the mold must remain intact for the form to fully emerge. This wisdom revealed itself through Gordon, whose flower shop stood as testament to the power of sustained visualization. While others saw only withering petals, Gordon perceived eternal bloom. Each morning before opening his shop, he would sit in silence, holding in his mind's eye the image of flowers that radiated perpetual vitality. As drought gripped the region, his blossoms remained mysteriously vibrant, drawing customers from miles away who marveled at their enduring beauty. Gordon's success flowed not from favorable conditions, but from his unshakable vision. He discovered that belief, when held with devotion, becomes a tangible force, a creative material as real as soil and seed. The universe responded not to his wishes, but to his unwavering certainty. The ancient ones knew this truth. Imagination coupled with belief forges reality. Your thoughts are not mere wisps of consciousness. They are the architects of experience, the sculptors of circumstance. When you maintain a vision with the same consistency that the sun rises each morning, the universe has no choice but to reshape itself around your conviction. Practice. Close your eyes and picture your desired outcome as already breathing in this dimension. Feel the tactile details. Allow your mind to linger until the emotion of fulfillment eclipses all doubt. The universe will sculpt what your imagination stabilizes. Chapter 3. The Frequency of Gratitude. In a small town where dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, Elsie awakened each morning with a familiar heaviness in her heart. Worries about unpaid bills and uncertain futures clouded her mind like storm clouds gathering on the horizon. Yet one day, a subtle shift occurred. Instead of rehearsing her troubles, she began to whisper thanks for the simple treasures before her. The warmth of sunlight streaming through her window became a gift rather than a mere occurrence. The aroma of fresh coffee transformed from a routine into a blessing. As surely as water shapes stone, this practice began to sculpt her reality anew. Small miracles appeared. A forgotten refund arrived. A neighbor offered unexpected help. Opportunities emerged as if summoned by her grateful heart. These were not mere coincidences, but demonstrations of an eternal truth. Gratitude acts as a spiritual lubricant, allowing manifestation to flow with greater ease. When you steep yourself in appreciation, you tune your being to a higher frequency. Like clearing static from a radio signal, gratitude removes the interference of lack consciousness, allowing abundance to broadcast clearly into your experience. This is not mere positive thinking. It is an alchemical process recognized by sages throughout the ages. Arthur, who had spent decades as a mechanic, discovered this truth in his retirement years. When faced with challenges, a leaking roof, a troublesome neighbor, an unexpected expense, he began recording gratitude for each situation in a worn notebook. Thank you for this roof that shelters me, even as it teaches me about maintenance. Thank you for this neighbor who helps me practice patience. With each entry, something mysterious occurred. Difficulties transformed into advantages. The leaky roof led to meeting a skilled craftsman who became a dear friend. The difficult neighbor eventually moved, and a wonderful family arrived in their place. Through Arthur's experience, you glimpse a profound principle. Gratitude possesses the power to transmute resistance into receptivity. Like a master key, it unlocks doors that seemed forever sealed. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, allow yourself to experience gratitude not as mere words, but as a tangible warmth radiating from your heart center. Feel this golden light of appreciation expanding through your chest, sending its luminous signal into the vast field of creation. Imagine this radiance traveling through the universe, calling forth experiences that match its brilliant frequency. Let your grateful heart become a beacon, drawing to you the perfect reflections of your appreciation. Chapter 4. The Whisper of Desire. Through the mists of time, an eternal truth shimmers. Desire is not a temptress leading you astray, but a sacred messenger whispering of your soul's destined path. Let us unveil this wisdom through a tale as old as yearning itself. In a bustling coastal town, Bonnie spent her days organizing files in a dimly lit office, while her heart yearned for distant shores and unknown adventures. Each time wanderlust stirred within her breast, she would push it down, convinced that such dreams were foolish distractions. Practical people don't chase fantasies. she would remind herself, though the weight of unexpressed desires grew heavier with each passing season. Then one morning, as she watched seabirds soaring freely above the harbor, understanding dawned like the first rays of sunlight breaking through storm clouds. These persistent longings were not random thoughts to be dismissed, but divine guidance speaking through the language of desire. Your deepest yearnings are not accidents of imagination, but cosmic coordinates pointing toward your highest path. This truth reveals itself in the ancient law. Desire is the universe's way of calling you toward expansion. When you honor your authentic longings, you align with the creative force that shapes worlds. Suppressed desires do not disappear. They transform into shadows that dim your natural radiance. Norman, a humble artisan who crafted jewelry from seashells at local fairs, discovered this principle through simple observation. He noticed that pieces created during moments of pure joy and inspiration seemed to carry an invisible magnetism. Customers would be drawn to them inexplicably. The necklaces and bracelets he designed while feeling most alive consistently found homes faster than those made merely to fill his inventory. His experience illuminates a profound truth. Enthusiasm is the universe's language of confirmation. When you feel genuine excitement about a path or possibility, you are receiving a cosmic signal of alignment. The energy of authentic desire infuses everything it touches with an attractive force that prosperity naturally follows. This principle operates with mathematical precision. Joy magnetizes similar frequencies, while suppressed desire creates resistance to the very experiences you secretly long for. Your role is not to judge or censor your desires, but to recognize them as sacred messengers guiding you toward your highest expression. Now, let us engage in an ancient practice that honors this wisdom. Find a quiet moment and take several deep breaths. Allow your favorite dream to surface in your consciousness. Let it flutter alive within your heart space. Feel its natural vitality without forcing or straining. Make a silent vow to nurture this sacred spark daily through gentle, joyful thought rather than pressure or demand. This is the art of devotion disguised as daydream, the practice of keeping your desires alive through tender attention rather than anxious grasping. Chapter 5. The Law of Allowing. When you learn to listen to desire's sacred whisper, you begin to understand the language of the universe itself. Your longings are not random impulses or dangerous temptations. They are divine coordinates encoded in the map of your destiny. In suppressing her yearning for adventure, Bonnie had fallen into humanity's most common trap, mistaking fear for wisdom. Yet what appeared as prudent restraint was actually resistance to her soul's natural expansion. Each time she pushed away her dreams of exploration, she unknowingly pushed away the very force designed to guide her toward fulfillment. The universe speaks through the voice of authentic desire. When a longing persists despite your attempts to silence it, it carries a message about your true path. This is why the ancient teachings emphasize that desire is not the enemy of spiritual growth, but its essential ally. Your deepest yearnings are breadcrumbs leading you toward your highest expression. This wisdom manifested clearly through Norman's experience with his seashell jewelry. The pieces he created from pure joy and inspiration seemed to carry an invisible magnetism. Customers would be drawn to specific items, often saying, "This one speaks to me." What they sensed was the embedded frequency of Norman's authentic enthusiasm, the signature of aligned creation. When you create or act from genuine passion, you tap into the universe's own creative force. This is why things made with love seem to glow with an inner light. They carry the vibration of truth. Norman's most successful pieces weren't necessarily the most intricate or technically perfect. They were the ones that captured the joy of their creation. Your desires are not random. They are the universe's way of calling you toward expansion. When you honor your authentic longings without guilt or shame, you align with the natural flow of manifestation. This doesn't mean every fleeting want should be pursued, but rather that your persistent soul-level yearnings deserve your respect and attention. The practice for embracing this truth is gentle yet profound. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Take several deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and your mind to settle. Now, invite your favorite dream to surface in your awareness. Don't force it. Let it arise naturally, like a butterfly landing on an outstretched hand. Feel its presence, its energy, its particular vibration. Notice how it makes you feel alive, awakened, expanded. Make a silent promise to nurture this sacred spark each day through joyful thought rather than anxious pressure. This is not idle fantasy, but devotion disguised as daydream, the art of keeping your desires alive through tender attention rather than forceful demand. Chapter 6. The Architecture of Belief. As you delve deeper into these ancient mysteries, you discover that your beliefs are not mere thoughts. They are living architectures that shape the very fabric of your reality. Dorothy's tale mirrors a universal truth that echoes through the ages. What you deeply believe becomes the template for your experience. For years, Dorothy carried the weight of a belief that time had passed her by, that opportunities belonged to the young and bold. This conviction cast a shadow over her days until she stumbled upon a timeless secret. That belief itself is the master key to transformation. Each belief you hold acts as a command to the creative forces of the universe, instructing energy on what forms to manifest in your life. Henry's journey from skeptic to mystic unveils this principle with striking clarity. As an accountant, his world was built on rigid calculations and predictable outcomes. Yet when he began affirming his trust in life's magical possibilities, reality responded with an elegant synchronicity. New friends appeared as if summoned by his shifted perspective. Creative ventures emerged from seemingly nowhere. Joy found its way through cracks in his once impenetrable wall of doubt. The power of conscious belief reprogramming lies not in forcing change, but in aligning with a new truth so completely that the old pattern dissolves of its own accord. When Henry replaced his skepticism with openness to miracles, he didn't just think differently. He became a different frequency altogether. His transformed vibration naturally attracted experiences that matched his new internal landscape. This ancient wisdom teaches that your beliefs are not fixed destinies, but fluid possibilities awaiting conscious direction. Each time you choose to believe in abundance over lack, in opportunity over limitation, in divine timing over missed chances, you realign the invisible threads of creation. Mystic practice. Select a belief that represents your highest truth, not what is, but what could be. Write it with intentional care, as though recording a universal law. Each morning, speak this belief aloud. letting its vibration fill your being until word and emotion become one unified force. This is not mere repetition, but spiritual alchemy, the merging of thought and feeling that births new realities into being. As you continue this practice, watch how the universe begins to reflect back the very truth you have planted within. Chapter 7. The Pulse of Emotion. In ancient times, emotions were understood not as burdens to be managed, but as sacred messengers carrying wisdom from the depths of creation. This truth reveals itself through the story of Nell, whose relationship with anger exemplifies how many of us misinterpret our emotional guidance system. For years, Nell viewed her anger as a curse, a punishment for some unnamed transgression. She would push it down, lock it away, treating it as an unwelcome intruder rather than the faithful compass it truly was. Yet anger, like all emotions, serves as an inner barometer, a precise instrument measuring the alignment between your thoughts and your soul's knowing. The universe speaks first through feeling. Every emotion that rises within you carries vital intelligence about your energetic state. Joy signals alignment with truth, while discomfort points toward thoughts that contradict your deeper wisdom. These feelings are not random. They are the earliest indicators of manifestation in motion. Calvin, tending his garden with quiet awareness, uncovered this principle through simple observation. His plants, sensitive to the invisible currents of energy, would wilt when he approached them carrying the weight of gloom. Yet these same plants would stretch toward the sky, vibrant and alive, when he worked among them with music in his heart and laughter on his lips. The garden became his teacher, demonstrating how all living things respond to the honest language of energy. Your emotional landscape is equally responsive. When you feel uplifted, you are in harmony with your soul's frequency. When you feel contracted or disturbed, some thought or belief has created static in your energetic field. These signals arrive not to punish, but to guide, like a loving parent steering a child away from harm. The ancient ones knew that emotion, properly understood, becomes a bridge between the seen and unseen realms. Every feeling is a messenger knocking at the door of your awareness, carrying precise information about your relationship with universal forces. Sacred practice, the emotional compass. When an emotion arises, resist the urge to judge or suppress it. Instead, welcome it as you would a wise elder bearing important news. Sit quietly with the feeling and ask with genuine curiosity, what thought within me does this emotion contradict? Listen deeply to the answer that emerges from your inner silence. This practice of emotional attunement restores harmony with the natural flow of life force, allowing manifestation to proceed without resistance. The universe's language is feeling. Learn to read it well, and you hold the key to conscious creation. Chapter 8. The Bridge of Faith. Long ago, there lived a woman named Sadie who gathered dreams like autumn leaves, only to scatter them at the first whisper of doubt. Each vision she held, of creating beauty, of touching lives, of building something lasting, withered beneath her need for guaranteed outcomes. Yet in doing so, she overlooked one of the most potent mysteries of creation. Proof follows belief, never preceding it. Within the architecture of manifestation, faith is not blind optimism, but rather the vital force that sustains the unseen until it crystallizes into form. Your belief creates an energetic blueprint that reality gradually fills. much like water taking the shape of its container. This principle echoes through the ages, whispered in temples and written in sacred texts. What you steadfastly believe, you inevitably experience. Consider Marvin, whose story illuminates this truth with elegant simplicity. A traveling musician, he spent countless hours performing for empty rooms, yet in his mind's eye, he saw every chair filled with attentive listeners. Each day, he would stand before vacant seats and play his heart out, feeling the warmth of phantom applause wash over him. He refused to wait for an audience to feel successful. Instead, he lived success in advance through unwavering faith. As the weeks passed, something shifted in the invisible realm. First came a small coffee shop invitation, then a local festival, followed by increasingly prestigious venues. The audiences that materialized seemed to have been drawn by an unseen force, yet they were simply matching the energy Marvin had long been rehearsing. His faith had carved a channel through which reality could flow. This pattern repeats throughout existence. Everything manifest was first sustained in thought. The oak exists in the acorn as potential, just as your desired reality exists now in your belief. But like Marvin, you must be willing to rehearse it internally before external evidence appears. Faith is not passive waiting, but active participation in the unseen stages of creation. Sacred practice. Living from the end. Each morning as the sun rises, settle into a moment of quiet communion with your deepest desire. Feel the satisfaction of its completion as if it were already manifest. Let this certainty infuse your movements throughout the day, the way you speak, walk, and interact with others. Move through your hours not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. For the bridge of faith is not merely crossed, it is built by each step taken in absolute conviction. This practice aligns your energy with the frequency of fulfillment, allowing the universe to match your inner certainty with outer circumstance. Remember, you are not waiting for reality to change. You are rehearsing its new arrangement until physical form catches up to your unwavering belief. Chapter 9. The Dance of Contrast. In the valleys of an ancient kingdom lived a potter named Polly, whose hands could shape clay into vessels of rare beauty. Yet each time a pot cracked or a glaze ran imperfectly, her heart would fill with bitterness. She saw these flaws as enemies conspiring against her vision, until a wise elder shared a secret that would transform her understanding forever. The universal law whispers this truth. What appears as obstacle serves as sculptor, carefully chiseling away all that obscures your deepest desires. Each resistance you encounter holds within it a precious gift, the gift of clarity. When life presents you with what you do not want, it simultaneously illuminates what you do want with striking precision. Consider how the night sky makes visible the stars, or how silence allows music to be heard. In the same way, contrast serves as the defining edge that brings your true preferences into sharp focus. What you resist persists, not to torment you, but to refine your vision until it achieves crystal clarity. Walter, a brilliant inventor in a distant city, discovered this wisdom through years of apparent failure. His workshop became a graveyard of abandoned prototypes, each one representing a dream that seemed to slip through his fingers. Yet rather than curse these setbacks, he began to bow to them as teachers. With each unsuccessful attempt, he would pause and whisper, "Thank you for showing me what does not work. so I might better understand what does. This subtle shift in perspective altered everything. Each failure became a lantern, illuminating the path toward his true vision with greater precision. When his magnificent invention finally emerged, a device that would help thousands, it bore the refined wisdom of every previous attempt. The contrast had served as his greatest ally, though he had not recognized it at first. The law of attraction responds not just to your desires, but to the clarity with which you hold them. Contrast serves as the master craftsman, sculpting this clarity from the raw marble of experience. When you resist resistance itself, you deny yourself its gifts of refinement and precision. Notice how your strongest preferences often arose from experiencing their opposite. A desire for peace may have been crystallized through chaos, while longing for connection might have been clarified through solitude. These are not accidents, but precise calibrations of the universe, helping you define your chosen frequency with exquisite accuracy. Practice. Sacred contrast reflection. When contrast appears in your life, pause and reach for this ancient practice. Take a quiet moment with pen and paper. Write down exactly what this challenge is revealing about your truest preferences. If financial strain appears, it might be teaching you about your desire for abundance. If discord emerges in relationships, it might be highlighting your yearning for harmony. Then, allow yourself to feel genuine appreciation for this clarity, as though each insight were a golden coin placed in your hand. Touch the gratitude that this contrast has made your desires so precisely known. For in this precision lies the seed of manifestation. The clearer your signal, the stronger its attraction. Remember, every contrast pays tuition in the school of wisdom. These moments of resistance are not obstacles on your path. They are the path itself, leading you to ever greater clarity about who you are and what you wish to create. Chapter 10. The Echo of Words. A merchant traveled through distant lands carrying his most precious wares in an ornate chest. Each morning, he would open the chest and lament, "So little remains, soon I shall have nothing." Day by day, his goods dwindled, just as he had spoken into being. Through his words, he had unknowingly crafted his own diminishment. The universe responds not to what you desire, but to the vibration you maintain through your chosen words. Each syllable carries creative force, shaping the invisible architecture of your reality. Like a sculptor's chisel, your speech carves pathways through which abundance flows or falters. When you declare, "I can't afford it," you command the universal mind to ensure this remains your truth. When you proclaim, "Nothing ever works out for me," you weave a web of circumstances that validate this proclamation. Your words are not mere descriptions of reality. They are instructions to the field of infinite possibility. In a small village there lived a humble postman named Clyde, who discovered this sacred principle through innocent experimentation. As he delivered letters, he began whispering blessings over each envelope. May this message bring joy. May abundance flow to this home. May peace dwell within these walls. Within months, the entire neighborhood transformed. Gardens flourished, children laughed more freely, and neighbors spoke of unexpected gifts and opportunities. The power did not lie in the specific phrases Clyde used, but in the loving intention he infused into his words. He had inadvertently tapped into an ancient truth. Speech carries vibrational frequency that ripples through the quantum field, attracting circumstances that match its tone. Your words are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Each complaint nurtures thorns of lack, while each expression of gratitude cultivates gardens of abundance. This is not metaphor, but metaphysics, the science of energy responding to directed thought. Ancient mystery schools taught their initiates to guard their speech as carefully as their most valuable treasures. They understood that casual complaints were not harmless observations, but powerful spells, binding reality to match their vibration. Sacred speech practice. For the next 7 days, observe your speech as though each word carries the power to shape reality, because it does. When you catch yourself speaking of lack or limitation, pause. Breathe deeply and rephrase your statement to align with abundance and possibility. Feel the vibration of your new words resonating through your being. Notice how the universe begins to mirror back the frequency you maintain. Remember, you are not describing your world. You are creating it, one word at a time. Part 2. The Forbidden Energies of Creation. Chapter 11. The Substance of Vibration. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant displayed exquisite silks that seemed to whisper stories of far-off lands. Yet day after day, customers passed by without noticing. The merchant's frustration grew until an old sage revealed a timeless truth. The silk's beauty mattered less than the merchant's inner song. Your vibration speaks more clearly than your words ever could. Every thought, feeling, and belief emanates an energy signature that ripples through the universal field. This invisible broadcast determines what experiences, people, and circumstances align with your frequency. Many believe they must speak loudly or act boldly to be noticed by life. Yet the universe perceives your quietest thoughts with perfect clarity. Like a radio tower ceaselessly transmitting signals, you constantly emit vibrations that shape your reality. This explains why two people can occupy the same space yet experience entirely different worlds. Each tunes into frequencies matching their inner state. Consider Lottie, who felt invisible at social gatherings despite her genuine desire to connect. Her physical presence was clear, but her energy whispered of unworthiness and separation. Once she understood that her inner frequency attracted matching experiences, she began cultivating feelings of belonging and self-acceptance. Gradually, others started responding to her shifted broadcast, drawn by an unseen harmony. This principle found beautiful demonstration through Eugene, a craftsman of vintage radios. While restoring these delicate instruments, he noticed something remarkable. The clarity of transmission varied with his emotional state. When he worked with joy and peaceful focus, signals came through crisp and clear. But on days heavy with frustration, the same radios produced only static. Eugene's discovery mirrors an essential metaphysical truth. Your emotional tone matters more than your technical expertise. The universe responds not to your actions alone, but to the feeling tone behind them. A task performed with love carries a higher frequency than the same task executed with resentment. Think of yourself as a walking transmission tower, continuously broadcasting on frequencies determined by your dominant thoughts and feelings. Other people and circumstances that resonate with your frequency naturally tune in and manifest in your experience. This is why forcing external changes often proves temporary, Unless the underlying broadcast shifts, old patterns return. The power of this understanding lies in its simplicity. You need not manipulate outer conditions or convince others to change. Instead, adjust your inner dial to transmit the frequency of what you wish to experience. Like attracting like, your shifted vibration will draw matching circumstances into your field. Vibrational attunement practice. Find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Imagine your current emotional state as a musical note or melody playing in the universe. Listen without judgment to its quality. Is it sharp or smooth, flowing or fragmented? Now gently begin to adjust this inner music. If your frequency feels rushed, slow its tempo. If it seems constricted, allow it to expand. Let your heart conduct this subtle symphony until you feel aligned with the tone of what you wish to attract. Maintain this new frequency as you move through your day, knowing the universe faithfully echoes every note you choose to play. Chapter 12. The Power of Imagination. In ancient times, a weaver sat alone at her loom, crafting tapestries that few ever saw. Though her artistry spoke of realms beyond imagination, she worked in silence, believing her modest presence too faint to touch the world. Yet in that very stillness lay a power she had yet to understand. The universe operates through frequencies, vibrations that dance beneath the surface of all things. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture, sends ripples through the fabric of existence. These ripples, though invisible to mortal eyes, carry more force than the loudest proclamation. When you understand that your energy speaks louder than words, you begin to grasp the true mechanics of manifestation. It matters not whether you shout your desires from mountaintops or whisper them in the depths of your heart. The universe responds to the frequency you maintain, not the volume at which you declare it. Daisy discovered this truth through her simple sketches of dream homes. Each evening, she would lose herself in drawing, crafting detailed visions of a house she longed to call her own. She dismissed these drawings as mere fantasy, tucking them away in drawers where she thought dreams belonged. Yet something remarkable began to unfold. One by one, elements from her sketches materialized in her life. A chance meeting with an architect, an unexpected inheritance, a perfect plot of land appearing at precisely the right moment. Her dream house emerged brick by brick, each coincidence guided by the unwavering frequency of her imagination. This principle found another voice through Hugo, a humble tailor who dared to dream beyond his small shop. While crafting ordinary garments, he would envision his designs adorning celebrities on red carpets. He held these visions not with desperate longing, but with quiet certainty. His inner theater became his portfolio, broadcasting a frequency of excellence that transcended his current circumstances. When a celebrated actress stumbled upon his shop seeking a simple repair, she recognized in his work the very artistry he had long envisioned. His frequency had drawn its match. These stories illuminate a fundamental truth. Imagination is not mere fantasy, but the womb of worlds, the sacred playground where probability learns its shape. Your quiet visions, held with gentle consistency, become the blueprint from which reality takes its cue. Ancient practice of frequency alignment. Find a peaceful moment in your day, free from the world's clamor. Close your eyes and picture your desired reality with the playful curiosity of a child drawing in the sky. Let this vision float in your mind without strain or neediness. You are not begging the universe. You are allowing your imagination to reopen its sacred portal where creation rehearses certainty. Feel the joy of this vision as if it were already real, knowing that your frequency is silently shaping tomorrow's manifestation. Chapter 13. The Hidden Language of Symbols. Along a winding path through an ancient marketplace, Pearl walked with eyes attuned to life's subtle whispers. Each morning, she discovered feathers in unlikely places, atop business contracts, beside important letters, near doorways that led to pivotal meetings. Silver coins would catch the sunlight precisely when she pondered vital choices, as if the universe itself winked in approval. These were not mere coincidences, but the sacred alphabet through which the infinite communicates with the finite. The world speaks constantly through symbols, signs, and synchronicities, a divine language older than words themselves. Your role is to notice these messages, for they guide you toward alignment with universal flow. The physical world serves as a mirror, reflecting your inner state through tangible metaphors. When you vibrate in harmony with your deepest truth, reality arranges itself to confirm your path through meaningful coincidences. These signs appear as natural poetry, recurring numbers, animals crossing your path, overheard conversations that answer unspoken questions, or objects arranged in patterns that speak directly to your heart. Edgar, whose paintings hung in galleries across distant shores, discovered this truth through numbers that appeared like faithful companions. Before each successful exhibition, he noticed specific sequences: 444, 777, 1111, appearing on clocks, receipts, and street addresses. Rather than dismiss these as random, he recognized them as cosmic affirmations, silent nods from the universe confirming his creative direction. I began to see that reality itself is an artist, Edgar later shared, painting messages through the arrangement of ordinary things. When I learned to read these signs, my work flourished because I was no longer creating alone. I was collaborating with the universe itself. The wisdom lies in understanding that nothing is truly random. Each moment carries meaning, each coincidence contains a message, and every synchronicity serves as a signpost pointing toward your highest path. The universe speaks in patterns, and those patterns form a bridge between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. Sacred practice. Begin each morning by declaring your openness to divine guidance. As you move through your day, notice what catches your attention: repeated symbols, unexpected encounters, or unusual arrangements of everyday objects. Keep a small journal of these occurrences, writing them down without judgment or interpretation. At day's end, sit quietly and reflect on these signs, allowing their deeper meaning to surface naturally in your awareness. Thank the universe for each message, regardless of whether you immediately understand its significance. This practice strengthens your ability to read the subtle language of life, transforming your world into a living oracle of wisdom. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Current of Abundance. In a quiet village among rolling hills, Ruth counted her coins each evening, gripping them tightly as if they might vanish. Though she worked from dawn until dusk at her small shop, wealth seemed to slip through her fingers like water through cupped hands. Her shelves grew bare as she hesitated to restock, fearing loss. The universe operates through eternal circulation, a truth written in the motion of stars, the cycle of seasons, and the endless dance of giving and receiving. When you dam a river, it grows stagnant. When you clutch too tightly to what you have, you signal to the universe that you live in scarcity, and scarcity becomes your reality. Within every atom of creation pulses the rhythm of exchange. Your breath must flow out before fresh air can flow in. Your heart must release blood to receive it again. This same principle governs the flow of abundance in all its forms. The universe knows no lack, only the resistance to flow. Lawrence, a baker in the heart of an impoverished district, understood this wisdom in his bones. Even when his flour bins ran low, he shared fresh bread with hungry neighbors. "What flows out returns multiplied," he would say, kneading dough before sunrise. Others called him foolish, yet mysterious blessings found their way to his door. A merchant offering wholesale prices, unexpected inheritance, loyal customers spreading word of his generosity. His small bakery became a beacon of abundance, proving that giving creates channels through which prosperity flows. To manifest abundance, you must first become a conduit. Wealth is not a pool to be hoarded, but a stream to be directed. Each act of giving, when done with joy and trust, widens the channel through which abundance can flow. This is not mere charity. It is attunement to the natural law of circulation. The ancient practice of flow. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Place your hands palm up on your lap, symbolizing openness to receive. Now visualize resources, money, love, opportunities, flowing through you like a golden stream of light. See yourself joyfully directing this flow to bless others, knowing that as you give, the stream grows stronger. Feel the warmth of abundance passing through your hands, touching countless lives and returning to you multiplied. Let this energy move through you until you sense yourself becoming one with the eternal circulation of universal wealth. This is not imagination. It is remembering your true nature as a channel for infinite abundance. Chapter 15. The Secret of Timing. Just as the river must flow both outward and inward, abundance moves through your life as a current, not a reservoir. When you grasp too tightly at wealth, you create resistance in this natural circulation. The wise ones of old understood this principle. Abundance thrives in motion, withers in stagnation. Consider how the universe itself operates in continuous exchange. The sun freely gives its light, never hoarding its rays for fear of depletion. The earth yields its fruits without demanding immediate replacement. The air shares its breath without counting the cost. Lawrence, the village baker, embodied this wisdom in ways that transformed his community. Even when his own shelves held little, he would wrap fresh loaves for elderly neighbors, leaving them quietly at their doorsteps. During lean seasons, he shared what he had, trusting in the unseen law of circulation. Those who witnessed his generosity thought him foolish, warning that such giving would lead to ruin. Yet something remarkable began to unfold. The more Lawrence gave, the more abundant his life became. New customers appeared as if guided by an invisible hand. Farmers offered him first choice of their grain at favorable prices. His small bakery flourished not through careful hoarding, but through joyful circulation. This truth whispers through every exchange. Abundance flows toward those who understand its nature as movement. When you clutch wealth too tightly, you create energetic friction that slows its natural circulation. Your grip becomes the very obstacle to receiving more. The universe responds not to your words about abundance, but to your energetic relationship with it. When you give from a place of trust rather than fear, you align with the cosmic current of prosperity. Each act of genuine generosity sends ripples through the fabric of creation, returning multiplied through unexpected channels. Your role in this dance of abundance is to become a conscious conduit, allowing resources to flow through you with grace and gratitude. Release the fear that giving depletes you. Trust that as you participate in this sacred circulation, you tap into an infinite stream of prosperity. Practice. Find a quiet moment and center yourself. Breathe deeply and imagine resources flowing through you like a clear stream. Feel the joy of giving freely, knowing that abundance multiplies in motion. Picture your energy signature blessing everything that passes through your hands, and sense how this flow naturally draws more to you. Let this visualization remind you that you are not meant to be a reservoir, but a channel for abundance to flow through and bless many. Chapter 16. The Field of Intention. In the quiet hills beyond the city lived a woman named Fay who filled her cottage walls with lists of dreams, to paint masterpieces, to write novels, to build gardens, to master music. Each morning she would dart between these desires like a butterfly, tasting each briefly before fluttering to the next. Though her passion burned bright, her scattered attention left each dream half-formed, dissolving into wisps of someday. The universe responds not to the multitude of your wishes, but to the depth of your focus. When you disperse your creative force across too many channels, you dilute the power that could manifest any single vision into full bloom. This truth lies at the heart of metaphysical mastery. Intention must be as precise as a laser beam, not scattered like candlelight. Just as sunlight passing through a magnifying glass gains the power to ignite only when perfectly focused, your creative energy requires concentration to kindle reality. Each thought, word, and feeling must align like arrows pointing to one clear target. This unity of purpose sends an unambiguous signal to the universal field, which can then respond with matching precision. Gilbert, a sculptor working in marble, discovered this principle through his craft. Early in his career, he would approach each stone with a dozen competing visions, his chisel hesitating between possibilities. His work progressed slowly, marked by false starts and abandoned pieces. Then one morning, he began a new practice. Before touching his tools, he would sit in silence until a single clear intention emerged. He would hold this vision with unwavering focus, letting it fill his mind completely. As he maintained this discipline of unified purpose, Gilbert noticed a remarkable shift. His chisel seemed guided by an invisible hand. The right clients appeared at perfect moments. Even his suppliers began offering exactly the materials he needed, often before he asked. Through his devoted focus, he had aligned himself with the creative current of the universe itself. The field of infinite possibility awaits your clear command. When you scatter your intentions like seeds in the wind, you cannot blame the soil for yielding no crop. But when you plant one seed with certainty and tend it with unwavering attention, you activate the full power of creation's response. ancient practice of single focus. Each morning as the sun rises, sit in perfect stillness. Choose one quality you wish to embody, perhaps grace, abundance, or wisdom. Let this single attribute become your atmosphere for the entire day. Move through each moment as if already embodying this essence fully. Watch how events, encounters, and opportunities mysteriously align to reflect your chosen focus back to you. This is not mere coincidence, but the universe responding to your clear signal with matching precision. Chapter 17. The Art of Receiving. In a small coastal town, Nora lived alone in a cottage filled with affirmation cards and manifestation journals. Each morning, she would recite her abundance mantras faithfully, yet her life remained oddly unchanged. Though opportunities knocked, she found herself turning away offers of assistance, convinced that true success meant achieving everything independently. The universal field responds not only to what we say, but to the deeper currents of our acceptance. When you close yourself to receiving, you create resistance in the very fabric of manifestation. This truth lies at the heart of spiritual abundance. The flow must move both ways, like the eternal rhythm of breath. The law of receiving operates through openness, trust, and worthiness. Many speak of giving, but few master the art of gracious acceptance. Your capacity to receive mirrors your soul's belief in its own deservingness. Each time you deflect help, compliments, or support, you send ripples of rejection into the field, instructing the universe that you prefer to remain in lack. Chester owned a small bakery where locals gathered each morning for fresh bread and conversation. Though his creations drew praise, he would wave off compliments with uncomfortable dismissal. "It's nothing special," he would say, or "anyone could do it." Yet the universe speaks through many voices, and those compliments were messages of alignment, confirmations that his gifts were recognized and valued. One morning, as an elderly woman praised the delicate crumb of his sourdough, Chester paused instead of deflecting. "Thank you," he said simply, allowing her words to touch his heart. This small shift, this moment of receiving, created a new pattern. Over the following months, as Chester learned to accept appreciation with grace, his entire energy field transformed. His confidence grew naturally, his creativity flourished, and customers began arriving from neighboring towns, drawn by an invisible force of authentic recognition. Through Chester's transformation, we witness a fundamental truth. Receiving is not passive, but a vital act of co-creation. When you open yourself to support, appreciation, and abundance, you complete the circuit of universal flow. Resistance to receiving often masks itself as virtue, independence, humility, self-reliance. But true spiritual maturity recognizes that all are threads in the same magnificent tapestry. Sacred practice. When kindness comes your way, pause. Breathe it in without deflection, feeling the universe smile through another's eyes, confirming you are worthy of goodness. Chapter 18. The Alchemy of Forgiveness. In the depths of winter, Virginia sat alone each evening, her mind a theater replaying scenes of betrayal. Like a collector of painful memories, she held each slight close, unaware that these thoughts were anchoring her to the very experiences she wished to leave behind. The weight of resentment had become her constant companion, coloring every new encounter with its dark hue. The universe speaks in frequencies, and the vibration of unforgiveness creates a magnetic field that attracts similar experiences. When you hold on to hurt, you unknowingly broadcast an invitation for more situations that mirror your inner turmoil. This is not punishment, but the precise working of universal law, like attracts like, and emotional energy seeks its own reflection. Within the sacred mechanics of manifestation lies a profound truth. Forgiveness is not merely a moral choice, but an energetic necessity. To release another from the bonds of judgment is to free yourself from the frequency of conflict. Each grievance held becomes a weight in your vibrational field, pulling you toward experiences that match its density. Clydeen, who served as a nurse in a busy hospital, understood this truth through direct experience. Her supervisor's harsh criticism and unfair treatment had become a daily burden. Yet one morning, sitting in the quiet of dawn, she made a conscious choice to release her resentment. Not because her supervisor deserved forgiveness, but because Clydeen deserved peace. She began viewing her supervisor as a teacher of patience and resilience. Within a week, an unexpected shift occurred. A position opened at another hospital, one that offered greater responsibility and recognition. The timing was no coincidence. By clearing the energy of resentment, Clydeen had altered her vibrational signature. New possibilities could now reach her, unobstructed by the dense frequency of held hurts. The wisdom in this transformation reveals itself. Harboring resentment is like drinking poison, while hoping another will feel its effects. Your emotional state creates a template that the universe must match. When you transmute bitterness into blessing, you realign your energy with the natural flow of grace. Ancient practice of liberation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind the person who has caused you pain. Visualize them surrounded by soft, healing light. Without forcing false feelings, simply observe them as another soul on their own journey. Silently acknowledge the lesson their presence brought into your life. Watch as the scene gradually fades, leaving your heart spacious and filled with light. This sensation of release, this is the feeling of freedom. Chapter 19. The Spiral of Repetition. Along a dusty road, an old merchant set up his wares each morning in exactly the same spot, lamenting his unchanging fortune. Though he yearned for better days, his thoughts and words wove the same tapestry of lack, day after day, until a wandering sage revealed the hidden truth of his situation. You live within an intricate web of energy patterns, where every thought and feeling creates ripples that return as experience. These patterns are not chains, but teachings, appearing repeatedly until their message is fully received. What you perceive as unfortunate repetition is actually the universe's patient instruction, waiting for you to alter your response. Consider how a flower grows through cycles of sun and rain, each season offering necessary elements for its blooming. Similarly, your recurring experiences carry seeds of transformation. The key lies not in resisting these patterns, but in recognizing them as faithful teachers, showing you precisely where your vibration requires adjustment. When you encounter familiar struggles, remember, these are not punishments, but invitations to choose differently. Each repetition presents a fresh opportunity to transmute old energy into new possibility. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, will continue presenting similar scenarios until you shift your energetic signature. This wisdom revealed itself through Leonard, a shopkeeper who noticed his days followed a predictable script of complaints and setbacks. One morning, As he began his usual lament about difficult customers, he stopped mid-sentence. Instead of completing his practiced grievance, he spoke words of appreciation for those who entered his shop. This simple yet powerful shift, maintained for 30 days, transformed not only his perspective, but the very nature of his daily experiences. The law operates with mathematical precision. Your consistent vibration becomes your consistent experience. Change the signal, and you change the reflection. This is not mere theory, but a demonstrable principle of metaphysical science. Practice. Sit quietly and observe the patterns in your life with gentle awareness. When you notice a familiar challenge arising, pause and whisper softly, "Lesson received." Feel the wisdom of the moment sink into your being. Then, consciously, choose a response that differs from your habitual reaction. This simple practice breaks the energetic loop, allowing new possibilities to emerge. Your recognition becomes the key that unlocks a different future. Chapter 20. The Edge of the Known. In a quiet village among ancient hills, a weaver named Opal created beautiful tapestries, yet never ventured to show them beyond her small community. Each morning, she would gaze longingly at the distant mountains where renowned artisans gathered to share their craft. But fear kept her bound to familiar paths. The universe speaks through the whispers of your heart's longing. When you feel called toward expansion, it is the divine current inviting you to grow beyond self-imposed boundaries. These yearnings are not random wishes, but sacred signals pointing toward your highest potential. Your comfort zone, though seemingly protective, often becomes a subtle prison. The very routines that once served as foundations can transform into walls, blocking the flow of fresh possibility. Yet within every moment of hesitation lies a doorway to transformation. When you dare to step beyond known territories, you activate dormant forces within the universal field. Dennis, who spent years observing stars from his backyard, felt an inexplicable urge to share his photographs at a local gathering. Despite trembling hands, he displayed his work. That single act of courage rippled outward, connecting him with fellow enthusiasts who later invited him to join international research projects. His simple decision to transcend fear opened channels of opportunity that logic could never have predicted. This principle reveals itself consistently. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your willingness to act upon them. Fear appears not as an obstacle, but as a compass pointing toward your next evolution. Each time you choose expansion over comfort, you signal to the field that you are ready for greater possibilities. When you stand at the threshold of something new, remember that uncertainty is not your enemy, but your ally. It indicates you are moving beyond the known, where genuine creation occurs. The temporary discomfort of growth always yields to the joy of new discovery. The law of expansion operates through brave choices, not careful calculations. Your readiness to embrace uncertainty becomes a magnetic force, attracting circumstances, people, and opportunities that match your expanded vibration. What appears as risk to the mind often feels like coming home to the soul. Sacred practice. In moments when hesitation arises, pause and smile at it, as you would an old friend who means well but holds too tightly. Take a deep breath and make one small movement forward, a phone call, a first step, a gentle yes. Feel the universe's immediate response as energy rushes to support your courage. Let this become your daily practice, turning fear into faithful action, knowing each brave choice creates ripples of possibility in the infinite field of creation. Part 3. The Mastery of Conscious Creation. Chapter 21. The Quantum Self. In a sunlit garden where roses bloomed out of season, Lila sat motionless, struck by a profound realization. She had always viewed herself as singular, confined to one timeline, one set of choices. Yet in that moment of clarity, she understood she existed as infinite light, refracting through countless possibilities. The truth about your existence stretches far beyond physical form. You are not merely flesh and bone, but a vast field of conscious energy expressing itself across multiple dimensions simultaneously. What appears as linear time is truly a spiral of infinite potential, with your awareness free to dance between probable realities. Your higher self, that expanded aspect of your consciousness, already experiences every version of fulfillment you seek. This is not metaphor, but metaphysical architecture. When you feel drawn toward a particular future, it is because that version of you already exists, sending ripples of resonance backward through time's illusion to guide your current focus. Harold, whose rational mind once rejected anything beyond mathematical proof, discovered this truth through an unexpected awakening. Each morning, he began sitting in silence, opening dialogue with what he called his future self, that aspect of his consciousness already experiencing his desired reality. At first, it felt like imagination, yet the guidance he received carried unmistakable precision. Business opportunities appeared that matched exactly what his future self had described. Relationships formed with people he had seen in his inner conversations. His reality began shifting with elegant speed to align with the version he contacted in meditation. This principle operates through frequency resonance. Like tuning forks vibrating in harmony, when you align your current energy with the vibration of your desired reality, physical circumstances naturally shift to mirror that frequency. Your task is not to force manifestation, but to become the frequency of your preference. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, acts as a signal to the quantum field, indicating which version of reality you are choosing to experience. Most people broadcast scattered frequencies, pulling themselves between multiple timelines. But when you consciously attune to your highest possibility, you stabilize that reality into physical expression. Sacred practice. Close your eyes and sense the presence of your most radiant self, that version who has actualized your deepest aspirations. Feel them sitting before you, emanating peaceful fulfillment. Breathe together until you sense your energies merging, your frequencies synchronizing. Let their certainty become your certainty, their peace your peace. Open your eyes and move through your day from this aligned state, knowing that with each breath, you draw that reality closer into physical expression. Chapter 22. The Conversation with Source. In a quiet monastery garden, Betty knelt daily in fervent prayer, her words echoing against stone walls as she beseeched heaven for guidance. For months she waited for thunderous replies or burning bushes, missing the gentle whispers of her own soul. Yet transformation awakened when she discovered that divine communication flows not through external proclamation, but through the subtle language of inner knowing. The universe speaks in the poetry of synchronicity, in the quiet nudges of intuition that arise when the mind grows still. These messages come not as booming commands, but as soft certainties blooming in your heart. When you release the need for dramatic signs, you discover that wisdom has always whispered within you. The inner voice differs from the chattering mind. While thoughts race and reason debates, divine guidance arrives with peaceful clarity, a knowing beyond logic that resonates with truth. This is the difference between manufacturing answers and receiving them. One strains while the other flows. Ralph, who climbed treacherous peaks in distant ranges, learned this lesson through necessity. Where maps failed, he found that sitting in reverent silence attuned him to an inner compass more reliable than any equipment. Before each ascent, he would grow still and wait for that subtle current of knowing. The route that felt light was inevitably safe, while paths that brought heaviness held hidden dangers. Through trusting this silent dialogue, he forged a partnership with the mountains themselves. His experience reveals a universal truth. The divine communicates through feeling, through the weightless certainty that arrives in moments of inner quiet. Your task is not to demand answers, but to cultivate the stillness where they naturally arise. When you cease shouting questions at the sky and instead listen to the wisdom already planted within, guidance appears with elegant precision. Ancient practice for divine dialogue. Find a space where you can be undisturbed. Sit comfortably and allow your breath to slow until your mind grows quiet. Don't seek answers. Simply rest in the silence until you feel a gentle nudge, an inner knowing that arrives without effort. When this first whisper of guidance comes, trust it completely. Take action on this intuitive prompt without questioning or debate. Through practicing this surrender to inner wisdom, you strengthen the bond between your earthly self and the infinite intelligence that guides all life. Chapter 23. The Magnetism of Joy. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Trudy moved with fierce determination, her steps heavy with the weight of ambition. Each morning she would meticulously plan her path to success, scheduling every moment with rigid precision. Yet beneath her calculated exterior, a vital force lay dormant, the simple, powerful energy of joy. You see, the universe responds not to the intensity of effort, but to the quality of vibration. When Trudy finally allowed herself to laugh again, to feel the lightness of being, her entire reality shifted. What she had struggled to achieve through force began flowing to her with natural ease. This reveals one of the most guarded secrets of manifestation. Joy is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the highest frequency you can emit, the clearest beacon calling forth aligned circumstances. When you radiate genuine happiness, you broadcast a signal that the universe cannot help but match. Consider Ralphine, whose classroom once felt like a pressure cooker of achievement. Her students' faces showed the same strain she carried in her own pursuit of excellence. Then one day, inspiration moved her to introduce dance breaks between lessons. As music filled the room and bodies moved freely, something magical happened. The atmosphere transformed. Students began approaching their studies with renewed creativity and enthusiasm. Their test scores improved not through additional hours of rigid study, but through the enhanced mental clarity that joy provides. This apparent paradox, that pleasure produces better results than pressure, reflects a fundamental truth about energy. Creation itself is an expression of joy. When you align with that natural state of delight, you tap into the very current that shapes reality. Your pleasure is not separate from your purpose. It is a crucial component of your creative power. The wisdom traditions have always known this, though it often gets lost in translation. They speak of the bliss of being not as some distant reward, but as a practical tool for transformation. When you allow yourself to feel good, you automatically raise your vibration to match higher possibilities. Ancient practice, the calling of joy. Find a quiet moment and recall an activity that makes your chest glow with authentic happiness. It might be dancing, painting, walking in nature, or simply sitting in peaceful contemplation. Grant yourself time within this joy today, knowing that your happiness itself is your calling vibration to higher timelines. As you engage in this pleasure, feel how it naturally aligns you with the frequency of abundance. Chapter 24. The Shadow as Ally. In a small cottage among ancient oaks, Esther sat before her mirror, averting her eyes from the reflection that reminded her of what others possessed and she did not. Each morning she would hurry past the homes of her more fortunate neighbors, quickening her pace to escape the gnawing sensation in her chest. Yet what she was running from carried wisdom waiting to be uncovered. The universe speaks through every emotion, even those we label as unwanted or dark. When you turn away from jealousy, anger, or fear, you reject half of your creative power. These shadows are not demons to be banished, but teachers bearing gifts wrapped in uncomfortable packages. The depth of your being contains both light and shadow, each serving as an essential instrument in the orchestra of creation. When you suppress any note, the music loses its richness. Your darkness holds reversed wisdom, like a photographic negative waiting to be developed into clarity. Vernon, a potter in a small village, discovered this truth through his craft. Each day he watched other artisans receive praise while his own work sat untouched. The jealousy burned in his chest until one morning, instead of pushing it away, he sat with it quietly. In that moment of acceptance, something shifted. He began to study what he admired in others' work, transforming envy into inspiration. His jealousy had been pointing toward his own untapped potential. What you resist persists because it carries a message meant for your evolution. The shadow's presence signals an invitation to wholeness. When you embrace what you've labeled as negative, its energy transforms from poison to medicine. This is not mere acceptance. It is alchemy. The practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Bring to mind a trait or emotion you typically avoid. Instead of pushing it away, welcome it as an ancient teacher in disguise. Ask gently, "What wisdom do you carry for me?" Let the answer arise naturally, without force. Your shadow holds the key to aspects of your power waiting to be reclaimed. This integration ritual transmutes what was once feared into fuel for your becoming. Chapter 25. The Continuum of Love. High in a mountain village lived Louise, who wept each night for her family scattered across distant lands. She believed love required physical presence, measuring closeness by miles rather than resonance. Each letter unopened, each call unmade, deepened her sense of loss, until wisdom found her through an unexpected messenger. The truth you must grasp is that love exists as vibration, not possession. It flows as pure energy, unbound by space or circumstance. When you understand this principle, you recognize that separation exists only in thought, never in essence. The heart knows no distance. Love maintained in consciousness continues to nourish both giver and receiver. This is not mere sentiment, but a metaphysical law as reliable as gravity. Your loving thoughts travel instantly across any expanse, wrapping those you cherish in healing frequency. The key lies not in clinging, but in blessing, not in yearning, but in radiating. Albert, a violin maker, discovered this truth after his beloved moved across the ocean. Instead of feeding his grief, he began each morning by sending silent blessings to her. He would sit in his workshop, surrounded by half-finished instruments, and imagine her bathed in golden light. Gradually, his pain transformed into peaceful certainty. Though miles apart, their connection deepened. Years later, when they met again, both spoke of feeling supported during their separation, as if invisible hands had held them through the distance. His story reveals that love's presence requires no physical proof. It continues its work silently, weaving souls together across any divide. When you shift from grasping to blessing, from demanding to radiating, you align with love's true nature as infinite field rather than finite form. A sacred practice for eternal connection. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Close your eyes and imagine a soft golden light emanating from your heart. Within this radiance, picture every person you hold dear, near or far, present or past, gathering in a circle of light. See their faces illuminated with joy. Feel their essence merging with yours in this unified field of love. Breathe deeply, knowing this connection transcends all boundaries of space and time. Let your smile reflect the truth that in love's eternal presence, no one is ever truly apart. Chapter 26. The silence between thoughts. In a bustling marketplace, Marjorie paced between stalls, her mind racing with endless questions about her life's direction. Each vendor offered advice, each conversation added more noise, until her thoughts became a maze with no exit. Like many who walk the path of conscious creation, she believed answers lay in perpetual analysis and external seeking. The universe speaks most clearly in silence. This truth, ancient as time itself, reveals that wisdom emerges not from mental strain, but from inner stillness. When the surface of the mind grows quiet, like a lake at dawn, deeper knowing rises naturally. You may notice that your greatest insights arrive not through force, but through surrender, in the space between thoughts, in moments of pure presence. The mind, though magnificent, can become a veil between you and universal intelligence. Its constant chatter drowns the subtle whispers of intuition. Think of silence not as absence, but as presence, a living field where creation's secrets float like seeds waiting to take root. Within this void, all possibilities exist simultaneously, waiting for your conscious recognition. Edwin, a renowned chess master, discovered this principle quite by accident. Before each match, rather than strategizing frantically as his opponents did, he would sit in complete stillness. At first, this practice emerged from pre-game nerves, but soon he noticed something extraordinary. In these quiet moments, moves would appear in his mind with crystal clarity, as if downloaded from an invisible source. His most brilliant strategies emerged not from calculation, but from this space of receptive silence. What appeared to observers as strategic genius was actually Edwin's ability to access universal intelligence through stillness. His success demonstrated that when you quiet the mind's constant commentary, you open a channel to higher wisdom. The solutions you seek often already exist in this field of silent potential. The sacred practice of still knowing. Find a comfortable position and allow your attention to rest gently on your breath. Notice its natural rhythm without trying to change it. As thoughts arise, and they will, simply observe them passing like clouds in a vast sky. Don't engage with them. Don't push them away. Let them float by while maintaining your awareness on the breath's steady flow. Gradually, you'll sense a deepening stillness, like sinking beneath waves into calm waters. Rest here, in this timeless space where intuitive genius naturally awakens. Practice this daily, even for brief moments, and watch as clarity begins to emerge effortlessly from silence rather than struggle. Through this gentle practice, you align with the creative force that has guided masters and mystics throughout the ages. Remember, the universe's greatest revelations whisper rather than shout. In cultivating inner silence, you cultivate the soil where wisdom blooms. Chapter 27. The Infinite Circle. In the depths of every heart lies an ancient knowing, a truth so fundamental that most overlook its whispers. Alice, living in a bustling city, moved through her days feeling like an island in an ocean of strangers. She watched faces pass by, each sealed within their private worlds, until one morning something shifted in her perception. Standing in a crowded train station, she witnessed a mother comfort her crying child, an elderly man offer his seat to a pregnant woman, and a teenager help a blind man navigate the stairs. In that moment, the veil of separation dissolved. She saw not separate beings, but one consciousness expressing itself through countless forms, like light refracting through a crystal into infinite colors. The universe operates as a unified field of awareness, each apparent individual a unique expression of the whole. What you extend to another inevitably circles back, for there is no true separation between giver and receiver. Every act of kindness or cruelty ripples through the collective field, ultimately returning to its source. Leonardine discovered this truth while working night shifts at St. Mary's Hospital. Instead of seeing patients as separate beings needing fixing, she began perceiving them as extensions of universal consciousness temporarily experiencing limitation. During her rounds, she silently blessed each room, recognizing the divine spark within every struggling form. Within weeks, recovery rates in her ward increased notably. Patients reported feeling unusually peaceful, even in the midst of physical challenge. The hospital administrator noted the statistical anomaly, but couldn't explain it. Leonardine understood. She had tapped into the field of unified consciousness, where healing one meant healing all. This principle extends beyond healing. Every smile shared, every door held open, every moment of genuine listening creates ripples in the collective field. When you truly grasp that others are not separate from you, compassion flows naturally. Competition dissolves into cooperation, fear into love, judgment into understanding. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, silently repeat the affirmation, "We are one life expressing itself," during each interaction. Whether facing a friend or stranger, customer or colleague, let this truth inform your responses. Feel the artificial boundaries of self dissolve as you recognize the same consciousness looking back through different eyes. Every encounter becomes an opportunity for communion with the infinite circle of being. Chapter 28. The Vision Beyond Eyes. In the subtle realms between waking and dreaming lies a sacred faculty, the ability to perceive truth beyond physical sight. Like many before you, Evelyn dismissed her inner promptings as mere fancy, relegating prophetic glimpses to the realm of imagination. Yet, time after time, those gentle nudges proved prescient, painting previews of joyful moments that would later unfold with striking accuracy. The ancient wisdom reveals that intuition is not imagination's wilder cousin, but rather your soul's own telescope, allowing you to peer through the veils separating probable futures. This inner sight operates through the delicate mechanism of feeling perception, bridging the seen and unseen realms of existence. When you quiet the mind's constant chatter, stepping away from logic's rigid framework, a different kind of knowing emerges. This knowing arrives not through deduction, but through direct recognition, a resonance between your energy field and the subtle currents of creation itself. Nathan, a photographer in the Misty Mountains, discovered this truth through his lens. Rather than simply hunting for striking compositions, he began pausing before each shot, allowing himself to feel into the scene's deeper essence. He noticed that when he aligned with this subtle guidance, extraordinary moments seemed to arrange themselves, a shaft of light breaking through clouds exactly where needed, a bird landing precisely in frame, colors intensifying as if nature herself responded to his attunement. His most remarkable images emerged not from technical skill alone, but from this dance between inner sight and outer synchronicity. The photographs captured more than visual beauty. They radiated the very essence of the moment's magic, as if light itself conspired to reveal creation's hidden face. Through Nathan's experience, we glimpse how inner sight, when trusted, becomes a bridge between intention and manifestation. The universe speaks first in whispers, sending its messages through the heart's knowing before physical evidence appears. Your intuitive flashes are not random mental static, but rather love's own guidance system, offering glimpses of harmonious possibilities seeking expression through you. Each inner image or sudden knowing carries a seed of potential reality, waiting only for your recognition and trust to blossom into form.
Ancient practice.
When an intuitive flash arrives, whether as image, feeling, or inner knowing, pause and acknowledge it with reverence. Rather than dismissing it as imagination, treat it as legitimate sight, a loving message from the universe guiding you toward harmony. Let yourself feel the truth of what has been shown, allowing it to inform your next step. This practice strengthens the bridge between inner and outer sight, making you an ever clearer channel for divine guidance. Chapter 29. The Master Key of Alignment. In a small village among rolling hills, Florence toiled endlessly at her weaving, believing that sheer determination would manifest her dreams. Each evening found her slumped over her loom, fingers raw and spirit depleted. Yet, despite her relentless labor, prosperity remained elusive, dancing just beyond her grasp. Through her struggle emerges one of the most vital truths of conscious creation. Effort without energetic harmony yields only exhaustion. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate at different frequencies, they create interference patterns that block rather than amplify your creative power. The universe responds not to the intensity of your striving, but to the coherence of your energy. Like a master orchestra, all elements must play in perfect synchronization. Your thoughts form the melody, Your emotions provide the harmony, and your actions complete the rhythm. When these three align, creation flows with natural grace. Consider Randall, who once approached his carpentry business with grinding determination. Each morning brought fresh anxiety about quotas and deadlines until he discovered the art of energetic calibration. Before touching his tools, he would sit quietly, allowing joy and anticipation to suffuse his being. He imagined the satisfaction of perfectly fitted joints and the smile of delighted clients until his entire system hummed with aligned purpose. Within weeks, his workshop transformed. Projects that once demanded struggle now unfolded with uncanny ease. Clients arrived at precisely the right moments, materials appeared when needed, and solutions emerged spontaneously. His success multiplied not through added effort, but through the power of alignment. This teaches us that alignment precedes manifestation. When you force action from a place of discord, you work against the natural current of creation. But when you first attune your entire being to the frequency of your desire, the universe conspires to assist you. Your thoughts must whisper the same promise as your heart. Your actions must flow from this unified field of intention. This is not merely positive thinking. It is the science of energetic coherence, the art of becoming a pure channel for creative force. Sacred practice. Before engaging in any task, pause and breathe deeply. Feel any internal resistance or discord. Allow peace to settle in your body while excitement builds in your heart. When these energies merge, when calm meets enthusiasm, proceed with your action. This simple practice transforms ordinary steps into portals of manifestation, where effort dissolves into effortless flow. Your aligned energy becomes the magic that moves mountains. Chapter 30. The Creator Awakened. In a tranquil valley, a wandering merchant named Beatrice spent years searching sacred texts and consulting wise teachers, convinced that somewhere outside herself lay the key to unlocking life's deepest mysteries. She collected medallions, crystals, and ancient scrolls, each promising to reveal the ultimate secret of creation. Yet one ordinary morning, as sunlight filtered through her window, Beatrice experienced a profound revelation. She had been seeking externally what had always existed within. The power she pursued wasn't hidden in mystical artifacts or encoded in ancient wisdom. It was her own consciousness, eternally present, waiting to be recognized. This unveils the crowning truth of metaphysical mastery. You are not separate from the creative force you seek to understand. Your consciousness is the very substance of creation experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every choice you make is the universe exploring its own infinite potential through you. Howard, a humble farmer in the countryside, came to this same understanding through simpler means. Each dawn, he would pause his morning chores to watch the sun paint the sky. Day after day, he noticed how his appreciation seemed to make the colors more vivid, the light more golden, the moment more sacred. He realized his consciousness wasn't merely observing the sunrise. It was participating in its beauty, adding its own brushstrokes of wonder to creation's canvas. His experience mirrors the journey of every awakened creator. When you recognize yourself as consciousness in action, you understand there is no external force to petition, no distant power to access. The creative force of the universe flows through you as naturally as breath. Your thoughts, feelings, and awareness are creation's tools, sculpting reality in each moment. This is not mere philosophy. It is the practical foundation of conscious creation. When you operate from this understanding, manifestation becomes effortless because you're no longer trying to influence reality from outside. You are simply allowing the creative force that you are to express itself more fully through your being. Ancient ritual of recognition. Stand in the early morning light, facing the rising sun. Place one hand over your heart and whisper with conviction, "We are one act of creation." Feel the truth of these words resonating in your cells. Move through your day carrying this awareness, knowing that your joy, your presence, your consciousness is essential to the universe expressing itself in all its glory. This is not an exercise in imagination. It is a remembrance of what has always been true. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The truth you've been seeking has lived within you all along, pulsing quietly beneath the surface of everyday awareness. What the ages have called manifestation, creation, or divine power is simply consciousness. Your consciousness, expressing itself through the medium of existence. Through these chapters, you've discovered that reality responds not to what you want, but to what you are. Your emotional signature broadcasts continuously into the quantum field, attracting experiences that match its frequency. This is not mystical coincidence, but the fundamental architecture of creation itself. Each lesson has guided you from seeking to finding, from confusion to clarity, from powerlessness to conscious creation. The so-called secrets were never truly hidden. They were simply waiting for your recognition. Like a child who suddenly realizes they've been speaking their native language all along, you now understand that you've been creating reality since your first breath. The universe operates as a perfect mirror, reflecting back your deepest beliefs and most consistent vibrations. It neither punishes nor rewards. It simply corresponds with unwavering precision to your inner state. When you struggle, it's not because the universe is against you, but because your energy is divided against itself. These teachings were called forbidden, not because they were dangerous, but because few were ready to accept the awesome responsibility they convey. Pure power in aligned consciousness can only create beauty, for it flows from the same source that spins galaxies and opens flowers. The only danger lay in misunderstanding, in wielding power from fear rather than love. Let this wisdom settle into your bones. You are not merely a character in reality's story, but a conscious author holding the pen. Your thoughts are not private musings, but creative instructions rippling through the fabric of existence. Your emotions are not reactions, but frequencies that tune the universal field. Move forward now with reverent joy, knowing that each moment offers a fresh canvas for conscious creation. Let gratitude be your constant companion, for it aligns you naturally with abundance. Speak words of beauty. Think thoughts of harmony and feel emotions of love, not as spiritual exercise, but as deliberate acts of creation. The universe is not separate from you. It is you, expressing itself through infinite forms and experiences. Your awareness of this truth doesn't create the power. It simply removes the veil from what has always been.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.